When I say every day, y'all say love. Every day. Love. Every day. Love.
Sister, tell me what you need and I got you. Teach me, I teach you. Show me what you know and then I show you. Get your queen on. Yeah, I got a shoulder you can lean on. Assignment, understood. Now tell me what's the T on womanhood.
Hey everybody, welcome to the WomenHood, sponsored by Everyday Love TV. I'm your host Karina here with my beautiful queens, and today we're going to talk about what it's like to be Black or African American and a professional in the workplace. We're going to dive into some of the obstacles that we have to overcome just on a day-to-day basis. So y'all ready to do this, ladies?
Let's go.
Yes. Let's do this. So first, let's just open it up and tell them a little bit about what it is that we do and why we even chose our profession.
Well, by profession, I am now a full-time entrepreneur. I am the weight loss coach. That's WAITLOSS. And I talk about releasing and getting rid of the mental baggage that we carry, not just physical. And by, educational standpoint, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in criminology. And before I became an entrepreneur, I was a probation officer, juvenile probation officer, and a case manager here within the city. And now I am in full entrepreneurial status, and I love it.
And she's an actress too. She's trying to be
Listen, okay, well, we're going to give me my whole list of things. I am an actress, I am a singer, I'm also a yoga coach, instructor. Yes. So, what else I do? Yes, I think that's it.
She does a lot.
I do a lot. I am.
That's why we're wonderful.
Yes.
You love to see it. That's difficult to follow.
Okay. It's our life and it's difficult.
Okay. So I am a licensed psychotherapist. I have several different specialties. I specialize in minority men, anger management, suicide prevention, domestic violence, and marriage and family counseling.
Oh.
That one is a little new. I've only been doing it for about 2 months, but I'm getting there.
How you like it so far? How you like it?
It's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Hearing the different perspectives from a husband and a wife, and how they overcome different obstacles in their union. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess I'll tell y'all what I do. I'll tell y'all, on paper, I am a training and development specialist. So what I do is I teach people how to sell things, just how to have a conversation, because all it is a conversation. Like they say, for children, nobody's going to learn from somebody that they don't like. Nobody's going to buy from people they don't like either. Absolutely. So think about it in that sense. Outside of that, I also create websites. So if y'all need a website, but I love it. It's like a puzzle. It's like putting a puzzle together, because every site is different. Every site is unique. But that's what I do. I do a lot of other stuff too, but we'll start there. So the thing about it is, and what I love about the WomenHood, is that it's a safe place for us, right? We can come and talk because we're all Black and beautiful. We shine wherever we go. But there's some times, and I'm sure we all can talk about and attest to that, in our careers, like, we had to fight to get there, right? It's a struggle. So I wanted to talk about that. Like, what is it like being an African American and doing something? Let's start off with doing something different with your family. Let's start there before we even go to the career. What about your family? How did your families perceive like what it is that you wanted to do, or what you said you were going to do?
Well, for me, I think my mom was very supportive. Like, when I graduated high school, she was like, whatever you want to do, I'm cool with it. You just can't stay here. Go out and explore the world. My mom wanted me to go do something.
Yeah,
go do something. Because most of the people in my area, they got stuck. And so they wouldn't do anything else, and they were all living in the same community. Everybody did the same thing, looking at the same people, and nothing really changed. So she wanted me to go out and have experiences. So I went to college and started working, and that part. But once I got into like acting and doing pageantry and stuff like that, when I started to tell people my interests and my passions, well, why you want to do that? What? Why you want to do that? They ain't gonna make no money. Why you want to do that? Ain't nobody gonna buy nothing from you. Ain't nobody gonna see you. Who gonna ask you for advice? Nobody gonna talk to you about that. Girl, I don't even know why you wasting your time. And I'm like,
isn't that crazy how that could come from family?
Yeah.
The people that we listen to, like, that we look forward to for guidance, they're like, You sure?
Yes, family and friends, and then you have a product, and your friends will go to somebody else before they come to you.
Yep. Man, talk about the hurt. Talk about the hurt.
Right?
That's the secret. That's
Talk
the
about
secret.
That is the hurt. And I'm like, okay. That was an adjustment for me, but a stranger will support you before your people will.
That's true.
So you just keep going. You just keep going.
That's true.
That's true. Okay, so my family. So originally my mom wanted me to be a nurse.
Of course. Of course.
I do not do well with blood, needles, none of that. I do not want to be a nurse, but I was so fearful of disappointing her. My educational background is social work. I was so afraid to tell my mother that I wanted to be a social worker and tell my family in general. Because when they think of social work, they think about CPS. Oh, you want to go take somebody's
That's the
kids.
only thing. They think that's it. Like, what?
Yes, like you want to go take somebody's kids. You ain't going to make no money doing that. How you going to take care of yourself and blah, 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 blah. But once I did, get into therapy and I finally got licensed 2 years ago and I was practicing, they was like, how you gonna tell other people what to do with their lives? You just need to pray about it. You just need Jesus,
My goodness.
And that's the biggest thing because I was so conflicted for so long. Like, am I overstepping something? Like, am I not supposed to be so intertwined in people's lives? Am I supposed to just tell them to pray about it?
Right.
My first lady said, faith without work is dead.
Yeah.
God sent you here for a purpose, to speak through those other people.
Yep.
And you know what? And that's what I've been doing. So I appreciate my family's opinions. And now they jumped on the bandwagon now.
Yeah.
But I appreciate their opinions and where they were coming from back then.
Mm-hmm.
However, it was not going to change where I was going. Because I knew I had a purpose. I knew I was listening to God. And I knew I had to obey.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good thing. That obey is a strong word. That's because it's like if you listen to family, they have one vision for you. They want you to go in one direction. But you I know I'm supposed to be doing more or something else or whatever. For me, my family, they knew I was all over the place. So I'm the youngest of about 11 of us. So, I just came with a little bit of every kind of personality. So, when I was younger, I was singing, I was dancing, I was acting or whatever. So my mom put me in a position to where if I wanted to go off and do acting, pursue it full time, I'm right there with you. Well, then I get to college and I'm like, acting is cool, but I don't know if I want to start off from gotta go to all these, what they call not interviews, auditions. I gotta move out to LA with a hope and a prayer. So I went to school for human resources and business management. I was like, okay, I can do something with this. I'm not in that field, y'all. Go to school for what your heart desires, because I'm not even in HR. I'd be like, what? This what HR do? That's So when I started with my company, they were like, okay, that fits your personality, that's cool, sales. And then when I moved up into training, they were like, oh yeah, that's it. They was like, yeah, you got it. So fortunately for my family, it wasn't a big culture shock, because I still get to interact with people. I love interacting with people and talking to people. So they're like, okay, cool. But that's how I got there. But okay, so we got family, and you both actually said something about your family being shocked that y'all chose to do something else. So what would y'all tell people that's kind of on the fence of basically finding their identity, knowing they want to do something else, but maybe they're, let's say 17, 18, so they want to be respectful because I'm in my mom or dad's house, so gotta kind of do what they want me to do till I get out on my own. But then at the same time, they know their heart desires doing something else. So what y'all think about that? What would y'all tell people in that sense?
That's difficult.
It is.
That is very, very difficult.
It is.
You have a lot of people who are like that, especially when family is footing the bill.
Yes, that's what I forgot to add on. Yeah, they're paying.
If I'm paying for it, you're gonna do what I tell you to do, and that's been my experience with a lot of people who say that's been the struggle. But honestly, I'm gonna just say you're gonna have to navigate through that family situation the best way you know how, because I can't tell you to go out into the world with nothing if that's gonna say. But prepare yourself. And I also think that there are things that you can do to nurture your passion until you're able to get out on your own and do what you want to do.
Yes.
So if they want you to do this, okay. Unless you want to argue every day, fight or whatever.
Right.
You can. Which, there's other avenues if that's what you desire to do. I don't recommend it.
No, we don't recommend it.
But, I do feel like you should nurture what you really and truly want to do. And I know for a lot of people, when you go off to college, you really start to find yourself.
Yes.
Or you go off into the world and you really start to find yourself and you realize the things that you do and you don't like. Sometimes you even realize what your passions are.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, just do something until you find out. I love being able to just try something different that you may not even know that you like.
Yeah.
Just try it. You just never know.
Never know. Yeah.
I agree. You said something major that I didn't even consider. If your family is footing the bill.
Foot in the
for your
bill, yes.
education,
Like they're paying for it.
like
Yeah.
that's deep. What I would say is, it depends on how much work you're willing to put in for what you want. If they are footing the bill, are you able to get in a position where you're able to carry that financial hold for yourself without your family? Are you able to not be so dependent on their resources?
Yeah.
And I would also say, without taking that into consideration, you rather say, oh well, than what if. Like, what if I would have did what I wanted to do? How
Man.
far I could have been?
Yeah.
Then, you know, you try, you step out on faith and it don't work. You're like, oh well, I tried.
Right.
At least I find comfort and peace within myself
Right.
to know that I gave it my all. I gave it my best shot.
Yeah, I think we all have ran into that friend or maybe that parent, that family member that you hear them talk about. What if I would have did this? Oh man, you know, I could have been, or whatever. One story that actually sits out with me, we just talked about this not too long ago. My father was a musician, so he played the saxophone, recorded with James Brown, everything. And he got to a point in his life to where he's like, okay, I want to be a family man now. Like, all right, I'm making these kids out here, you know, on the road. Love you, Dad, but I'm ready to be a family man, right? So my father really had to make that choice of, do I continue pursuing this dream, playing the saxophone on the road, or do I go be this family man? Because at the time, it's tough. It was tough to do both. I'm sure. But so thinking about, you know, what your family say, thinking about what your friends say, you have to literally get to a point in time where you say, okay, this is what I want. This is where I see myself going. This is how I want to handle that. So that's my advice to people. Like, we talk about lists all the time. You know, make a list. See what that list is. What the opportunity that's in front of you. To make that list out. In 5 years, I want to be here. People think it's so cliche, but it helps so much to write things out and see it on paper, I feel. You know, so that way I can say, okay, I might have been doing this, working towards this, but this is where I want to go. So these are the steps that I need to take. So that's my thing. Absolutely. Family, we love them, right? But they just, sometimes they can hold you back if you're not careful. So like you said, you can maneuver through that obstacle. I tell people all the time, having a 9-to-5, don't look at these people that's like, oh, they are entrepreneur overnight, right? Oh, they made $1 million off a TikTok video. Now all of a sudden, oh, working a 9-to-5 is bad. It's not bad. You should use that job to support your dream if that's what you want to do. You know, you have a 9-to-5 right now. You know you want to be an actress. Okay, go ahead and do it. Take that, you know, do those auditions and everything, but still go to that job. So that's something to think about. And actually going back to jobs, so we talked about with your family. Let's talk about in the workplace. What are just some of the obstacles that maybe you all had to overcome with being a woman, and especially being an African American woman in the workplace? What's some things y'all kind of run into? Yeah.
Just being able to move up, like
Same.
growth in whatever field that you're in. It's almost like you reach a certain point and there's nowhere else for you to go. It's almost like, I don't know. I'm going to talk about my most recent experience. I was in my job for 7 years and I was constantly applying for supervisor positions to move up.
Yes.
And I remember when I worked my first job, the lady, she told me, she was like, you should be a supervisor. Like, because of who you are, you know, you would be great in the
They see it in us, yes.
She retired. That job, I worked every single position in the department, and I could not move up.
Wow.
Moved here, was like, oh, I'm going to have a different experience. Same thing.
Yeah.
Could not move up. But the biggest thing was here, it wasn't from people who didn't look like me. It was by people who looked like me. And so the biggest obstacle for me was having someone being intimidated by me because they see what I was capable of. And
That's
because
real.
they were in a position to either like elevate me or keep me down, they chose to keep me down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as a superior, I'm here, I make your job easy because I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And because I'm so good at what I do. You are in a position of power. I should not, you know, intimidate you in any manner. Like,
shouldn't.
I shouldn't.
But you do.
Exactly. And I was like, I am just being me. I can't not be me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to look in yourself, and believe it or not, I was told by upper management, to have a courageous conversation with my supervisor at the time. And I'm like, well, why would I need to talk to my superior about this when she's the one that could write me up and possibly get me fired if she doesn't like what I say? Yeah. And that was the most difficult part, having to navigate through trying to be my best and wanting to move up and be better, and then hitting a ceiling because someone felt intimidated.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest thing. And it literally took a toll on me mentally, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and everything just kind of like, because then it was like heavy. Like it was like the things that were being said to me and just done to me, period. I'm like, oh, it's a lot. My God, are you serious? It's a lot. I was like, God, it's got to be more than this. It's got to be more than this.
And you know, they say people will hate you just because of how other people love you.
Yes.
People try to turn that like in the movies or like, in the streets or no. I'm talking about in the workplace. Absolutely. Literally, when we were in person, there were people who just could not stand me because I'm good morning, hey, how you doing? Hey, yeah, what's going on? Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna be me. But it's like what you got that I don't have, and I'm like, that's a reflection of y'all. Y'all need to look in the mirror. That's y'all. Yeah. Exactly. Because I'm going to keep shining. But like you said, people who are in a position to put you up, like it's important to have the right people in place. And when you have like that manager or that supervisor who's willing to invest, mentor you, you know, whatever, it's a beautiful thing. I'm finally at a place where that's happening now. But there was a long time I had supervisors who, you're just a fun African-American girl, love having you on the team, you're so fun, you know, or it was like, my thing was I was looked at as the angry black woman when I spoke my mind. Right. And it's like, well, no, because, you know, Tommy over here can cuss out and say whatever he want to say, whoever, but when I do it, I'm the angry black woman. So it's for us as black women, it's stressful because we have to be mindful of how we're being perceived in our career fields, and all we're doing is being us, you know. So when I get mad, I have to think and take the third thought that comes to my mind, whereas somebody else could just be like, oops, say whatever, you know. So that's stressful. But what's some struggles or obstacles you've seen?
Well, I just want to say that all you was experiencing was something internal within that supervisor, and she was projecting that onto you.
Very much.
I told her that very thing, and that was probably one of the reasons why I got wrote up too. She didn't like what I
said. See, both of y'all was bringing those spirits out of them people, and they didn't want to deal with that.
No,
we gonna pray for them.
Okay, because why you mad? Because I'm happy. Yeah, what? You need to calm down. Okay, because I'm happy.
Now that's a black woman trigger.
Okay. Well, tell me to calm down now.
Okay, we're gonna get calm. Yes. But for me, I think the toughest thing that I've experienced in the workplace is microaggression from those people who don't look like me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The questioning of my intelligence. It can become overwhelming, especially as a young therapist just getting started. The narcissism, the gaslighting, it's like, it makes me question my own reality. Like, do I know what I'm doing? Like, why she coming at me like that?
Right,
you know like,
right,
and
absolutely.
It's difficult, and it was like a constant everyday thing, not just from co-workers, but from clients who didn't look like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, y'all love those long nails. Who is y'all,
Who
Mr.
is
Bob?
y'all?
Who is y'all, Mr. Bob? You know,
what do you mean, you people?
Listen, that was one of the times I call a thing a thing.
Exactly. But that's how I overcame that. I was like, you know, each time we have sessions, I noticed that you always come and know something about me. Do you have an issue with, you know, me being a therapist? Because we can explore different options. Yes. I have different resources for you and different people if you'll feel more comfortable with someone else.
Wow, that's nice.
Because I had to put myself first, because it was no longer therapeutic if every time I'm coming up in here, I'm on the fence.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, what he finna say now about my hair?
Right.
What he finna say about my nails, you know?
Yeah.
So in that time, that's the way that I fought back. Is by giving him those resources to go find somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't have to put up with that. I'm here to help you.
Right.
And I see why you're here.
Right.
Exactly.
No, for real. So, I mean, when it comes to, like y'all said, being aggravated, let's talk about that a little bit more. And you know, it was some funny little message that went out not too long ago about writing the email like per my last email. You gotta use those. If y'all don't know those, look them up, because there are ways that we can quote unquote clap back, but of course we would prefer to not. But how do you all, or what do you all think is the best way to express yourself or your displeasures in the workplace? Because you know, if we're not careful, like you mentioned, we can't pop off on our supervisors. What one person might be able to do, you know, no matter what race or whatever, we can't do that as African American women, because unless you have that rapport, you know, with your employer, but we can't do that. So what would y'all advice be for you know, black women out there that's like, okay, something is really bothering me, something's frustrating me, maybe somebody on my team is treating me differently, maybe I'm experiencing a microaggression. How can I express that but professionally? What would y'all say?
Well, I had to get comfortable with myself and my capabilities.
Yes.
That
First thing, get comfortable.
Was a projection.
Yes.
That it was projection.
Get comfortable.
So once I realized that, okay, so communication styles. I learned what my supervisor at the time, what her communication style was.
Right.
Me, I am an in-person communicator because I like to read body language. I need you to say what you mean and mean what you say, and then I'm going to respond accordingly. So knowing that she was the professional emailer, oh, she was a soldier behind that keyboard. Oh, she was a soldier.
Oh, Lord.
So my thing was, okay, well, how I'm gonna do this? So I hit her with the soldier on the keyboard. And then I'll go right around there to that office and say, hey, your email, did you get mine? Okay, so to
let's
reiterate,
talk about it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Or it would be vice versa. I would get her email. Okay, then I'll go around there and be like, say what I got to say, and then hit it with the email. As we discussed in your office earlier, prior to.
Yes.
That paper trail, she got to act right within that email. Things like that was fine, but that face-to-face was a killer every time.
Face-to-face.
She couldn't handle it.
Let me tell y'all some paper trail. The paper trail.
Yeah.
Pop that on the screen. Paper trail.
Yes.
Have a paper
For
trail.
clients too, because like you said, with clients who
they act like they forget
try.
or something. Like, yo, we discussed this. Oh, I don't remember.
okay. Well, you know, most of the time it's a Caucasian counterpart that I'm having issues with. Or honestly, a Hispanic male that's giving me issues. But you know, I'm well versed in Caucasian, so I speak very fluently. So it just amazes me how I would have to pull out vocabulary in order to exert my dominance, because then I have to get they get the little look on their face like, yeah, okay, she might know what she's talking about.
Right.
But I learned that from a young age because I was like the only black child in the high school. Like, it was maybe 18 of us in my graduating class of like 400 or something. So, you know, I learned, I became fluent at an early age.
Right.
And, you know, so, I mean, it's just one of those things of knowing who you are and being confident in your abilities and not allowing someone to challenge what you already know you're secure in and what your purpose and what your value is. So, you know, I just put it back on them.
I like that. And I want to, while it's on the front of my mind too, going along with that, so be comfortable with your message that you're trying to get across. I definitely love the face-to-face if you can. If you're virtual, you know, pop into a Zoom or Google Meet, whatever y'all do. Talk about it right then. One thing I will caution people to do, and y'all let me know if y'all agree, don't take the stuff home with you, or don't look at it as it's a me thing. So like, for instance, if you do have a teammate or a supervisor who just don't seem like no matter what you do, you can't do it right, whatever, you're having an issue, do not take that home with you, because I had to learn that actually. I used to take it home as if like, what's wrong with me? What am I not doing? When the whole time it was literally like you said, your supervisor is just jealous of you and your abilities, and they try to keep you boxed in so you won't shine, right? So don't take that stuff home with y'all. You know, decompress, do put everything into that work day, those 8 hours or whatever, and then go home, be with your family, be with your loved ones or yourself or whatever. So that's definitely mine. What you think? What you got?
I think that I learned to be politely assertive.
Absolutely.
And I was accountable for my feelings. I didn't project what I was feeling onto them, even though they made me feel that way. I would say, you know, what I'm experiencing right now is microaggression, because you keep coming in on my nails, you keep coming in on my hair. Am I wrong? Let me know. How can we figure this out and work through this together? Because I want to continue on in this relationship, but I'm uncomfortable. So what am I doing that's offending you? Can you let me know? And I had to use my big girl voice and get my needs across, or it would not have been a therapeutic setting. And if I said all this and there was still no change, okay, I have some resources. so that you can continue getting your treatment, but with someone that you'll be more comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because I got to put myself first, or I wouldn't be no good for those other clients who appreciate my service.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, because you were sitting up there thinking about that. You supposed to have a clear head working with them, and you frustrated. I think too, another thing is getting comfortable with speaking up and not just letting stuff continue to happen. And you both kind of, advocate for yourself. Because what I realize is nobody's going to do it if we don't do it.
Absolutely.
You may have coworkers who, after the meeting, I didn't like the way they talked to you. That was wrong. Don't come to me. You know, if you're a true friend, go say that to the boss or the whoever that did that. So we have to advocate for ourselves. And I think that's one thing, beautiful thing about us as Black women in general, because Black women are actually becoming the number one entrepreneurs now, for the record. But one thing is that we're getting out of the heydays. We're getting out of those old days where it's like, well, let me not say nothing, let me not aggravate nobody, let me not step on no toes. Like, if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody's gonna advocate for you. And now you don't have to be the Medea, you don't have to pop off on people or whatever, but it is good to advocate for yourself. One thing I wanted to talk about, because we all kind of people watch Womanhood, Brotherhood, Everyday Love TV, and it's all about love here on the show. So if you're watching this, if you are a different race outside of African American culture, like, know that we still love you, but these are things that a lot of people don't think about until it's brought to their attention. So ladies, and I'll actually start first, think about what's something that we would like our other counterparts, supervisors, teammates, whatever, that are of other races to know. So for instance, last year when everything happened with George Strait, this is in the country, George Floyd and everything, it was a real sensitive time at work. And one thing that really made me feel good about my employer and my team and managers at the time was that they took the time to have the conversation versus avoiding it. So instead of just being like, that's something in the news that's out there, that's not our company, literally the CEOs sent out emails. They had groups where we could go and talk, get support. They reminded us that we do have our therapy hotline number. Like, that's thing. So that's one thing, my advice for people of different races. If you're in a position to be a superior, spread that love. You have things going on. A lot of stuff is going on out here in the world with all kinds of races. Talk to them, to ask your teammate, hey, how do you feel about that? Are you okay? Like, are you okay will go a long way. And yes, some people may not know how to receive that, because we'll be like, what do you mean am okay? This stuff keep happening. But to let them know, like, hey, I may not be in your shoes, but I see what's going on. If you want to come talk to me, I'm here. Like, that probably kept me at my employer, with everything going on last year, versus me saying, like, this is too much. So that's my thing, because it's all about love here on the show. We spread love, we give love, but just let your employees know that you see them and you love them and you hear them, right? You may not be in their shoes, but you see them and you care about what's going on. So what would y'all say to other people who are in a position of power that may not be of African American descent?
Honestly, I implore people to come to terms with their implicit bias. So we're all experienced with explicit, the outward racism, some of the microaggressions, whatever. But implicit bias, what are you conflicted about that you don't even know that you're conflicted about?
That's a thing.
So asking yourself, okay, do I really have an issue with people, Black people, Hispanic people? Like, what are my real thoughts?
Right.
And one of the things I hate is, like, I don't see color. Why not?
Oh my goodness! Do not tell me that. I don't see color. Yes, you do.
So you gotta dig deeper.
Yeah.
Why do you have to whitewash the world?
Right.
Why do I have to be colorless in order for you to accept me? So just digging deep and seeing what you're really biased about, prejudiced about, or even racist about. What's the truth? What is that? Was it learned? Was it taught? Like, really exploring your thoughts.
Yep.
That's the work that a lot of people don't want to do. And because we're in an information age, whatever you want to know is literally at your fingertips. You choose to be ignorant at this point.
Right.
It's a choice. It is definitely a choice. So it's all about educating yourself. Like, it's there. If I want to look up anything, I can. I can do all kinds of third, what am I trying to say? I don't know.
The third party,
third party, all that. kinds of things, and fact check and do all of that. You know, it's at my fingertips. So I just employ people to just get educated. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Educate yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I love that. Educate.
Yeah. I agree. Educate yourself, because see the world through someone else's lenses. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you can never understand me as a black woman, but you can stand with me. You know what I'm saying? Even when I know we had the big hashtag Stop Asian Hate. You know what I'm saying? I went to my friend and I said, what can I do to be supportive?
Yes.
Because I don't know what you're experiencing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't get it from a black woman's perspective.
Right.
But as an Asian woman, let me know what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, I need you to stand with me when I'm experiencing something. And she was out there with me, Black Lives Matter, by my side.
I love it. It's
And that's
human.
what I can appreciate.
Yeah.
Is when you see the world through someone else's lens.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, because it's like, just like you said with the Stop Asian Hate, it's like we didn't see that. So what did we do? We took that amongst ourselves to educate ourselves, to ask like, wait, what are you talking about? Do you not see these police killings? Like, what do you mean? So it was a lot of that going on. But that's the thing, educate yourselves. If you don't know, ask someone. They would love to say, okay, well, hey, this is how I feel. And then there's that mutual, that mutual love, because that's what it's all about, y'all.
Right.
Everyday
And
love.
I'm also into diversifying my friendships.
Yes,
Like,
me
I
too,
really do.
yes.
That's one of my
I
things.
love
I
it.
diversify my friendships,
That's how you
because when
learn
you
stuff.
expose yourself to different cultures, to different people, that's how you learn.
Right.
So you get those cultural identification cues that we might do. We know that if you see a group of black women yelling and clapping like this, we ain't trying to fight.
We're not
We
fighting.
telling a great
We
story.
are reading a great story. We laughing.
And it's a point that you need to know.
Yes, you just did it.
So you ain't
Yes.
gonna call it
Body
up.
language.
It is.
Body
But you wouldn't know that
Yes.
if you didn't come to us or be around us to know, oh yeah, she just telling the story.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things that when you get to know someone, culture, just what they like to do, them as a person, you'll realize that we are more alike than we are different.
Right. Because
And
we
that's
love
what it
each
is.
other. We love each other. And that's what it's about. Everyday Love TV. That's true. But thank y'all for talking to me about this, because this is one of those things that's definitely uncomfortable for some people. And even we talk about people not realizing it. We talked about the opposite race. Sometimes African American women don't even know that they're experiencing it. Microaggression. You may have somebody watching that's like, what is microaggression? Google it. And you literally might have experienced it. Like, honestly. So thank y'all for joining with me today. Thank y'all so much. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, send to somebody. If you think you have a coworker or somebody that's receptive to this message, send it to them. Let's have this conversation. We love to talk more about this. Send us your questions, your comments, and we can even have a part 2 about this discussion, because this is something that we need to come together with our African American queens. But I'm Karina. I love y'all. We love y'all. Y'all have a good day. Everyday love.
Every day, love.
Every day.